Hello and welcome to Pittsburgh City Council's regular meeting for Tuesday, March 17th, 2020. My name is Kim Clark Baskin and I'm the Assistant City Clerk. With us today, we have our sign language interpreter, Sarah Pelk. The following is a list of legislation to be introduced by Pittsburgh City Council. Councilman Coghill presents Bill Number 214, Ordinance amending the Pittsburgh Code of Ordinances at Title VII, Business Licensing, Chapter 719, Vendors and Peddlers, by amending the existing language of Section 719.10, adding sites approved by the Sidewalk and Vending Committee to the list of sites approved by Council. Bill Number 215, Resolution authorizing the Mayor and the Office of Management and Budget to renew the non-exclusive license agreement with the Federal General Services Administration for the Veterans Affairs Highland Drive campus at 7180 Highland Drive, Pittsburgh, for limited use and to conduct due diligence pursuant to the application approved by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Department of Justice to acquire the property for law enforcement and emergency management purposes. Councilman Lavelle presents Bill Number 213, Ordinance amending the City Code, Title I, Administrative, Article 7, Procedures, Chapter 161, Contracts, in order to increase the councilmatic amount from $3,000 to $5,000. Bill Number 216, Resolution providing for the sale of certain property acquired by the City of Pittsburgh at tax sales. Items A and B, 11 Dick, 13 Dick. Bill Number 217, Resolution providing for the conveyance by the City of Pittsburgh of certain property having been placed for sale to adjoining property owners in conjunction with the City of Pittsburgh Side Yard Program. Items A through K. 1210 Westmoreland, 7301 Monticello, 228 Kramer, 2922 Banksville, 1005 Morrison, 1701 Brighton, 1705 Brighton, 0 Marquise, 1519 Brighton, 69 Watson, and 1529 Brighton. Councilman Wilson presents Bill Number 218, Ordinance amending and supplementing the Pittsburgh Code of Ordinances, Title 10, Building, Chapter 1004, International Property Maintenance Code adoption by adopting the 2015 edition of the International Property Maintenance Code, and with the amendments thereto specified in Section 1004.02 of the City Code, as well as making certain amendments to the existing language of Section 104.02 of the City Code. That concludes the reading of legislation to be introduced by Pittsburgh City Council. Thank you and have a great day.
Good morning and welcome to the regular meeting of City Council for Tuesday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, 2020. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Reverend Burgess. Mr. Coghill.
Here.
Ms. Gross.
Here.
Mr. Kraus.
Here.
Mr. Lavelle.
Here.
Mr. O'Connor.
Here.
Ms. Strasburger.
Here.
Mr. Wilson.
Here.
Mrs. Kell Smith, President.
Here.
8 members present.
Will those that are in the room please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence? And will the members at home please join us? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and
indivisible,
justice
with
for all.
liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, members. So our next order of business will be proclamations, and we have no proclamations today. However, there is a will of council sponsored by Councilwoman Gross, COVID-19. Councilwoman Gross, do you want to say anything, or do you have the will of council, Madam Clerk?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. If the clerk would just read the resolutions of it, all members, I think, have seen it, and we've had a lot of progress on these items. It's basically calling for every level of government and the private sector to do what we all can do to help people weather this crisis successfully, in good health, but also without economic harm. We know that so many people in the city of Pittsburgh live paycheck to paycheck, and our hourly workers and our intermittent workers. And even before we declared a state of emergency last week in the city, I had constituents who'd been out of work for a few weeks because of events canceling or because of not being able to work for being sick. And they already need support. So we're proud of the work that the city of Pittsburgh has done already to prevent shutoff in water service, to slow down citations at permits, licenses, and inspections. We're glad that the state Pennsylvania Utility Commission has required utilities to not shut off people's service. People need their water service, they need their light service, they especially need access to information and to each other through their phones and through all of the screens that we have these days, to stay connected and to keep updated. So I just want to acknowledge that many of our partner organizations and levels of government are cooperating, and we may continue to find out ways that we can help people be well during the crisis. So thank you.
Would you like it read in its entirety?
No, Master, thank you. If you just read the resolve at the bottom, the resolution.
Be it further resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh calls on the Allegheny County Sheriff's Office, the Pennsylvania courts, all landlords and leasing agents, West Penn Electric, Duquesne Light, Columbia Gas, Peoples Gas, and Pennsylvania American Water to enact moratoriums on evictions, residential foreclosures, tax liens on residential properties, and utility shutoffs in response to the COVID-19 global health emergency. Be it further resolved, the Council of the City of Pittsburgh reminds employers that the requirements of the Paid Sick Leave Act, effective March 15, 2020, are mandatory for all employers.
Are there any other comments from members?
Madam Clerk, I believe that Councilwoman Strasburger added her name as a co-sponsor. I'm sorry if you didn't get that.
So noted.
Councilwoman Strasburger co-sponsoring.
Are we all co-sponsors or just?
I guess technically I'm not sure how that works.
Are we all co-sponsors on this?
If you want to be,
Okay.
if you want to add.
I'd like to be added, but I do want to make some comments about how I do think that the administration has done an amazing job in getting this, a lot of these companies that you already mentioned and organizations that you mentioned already on board doing some of these things and making sure that we're working towards some of these things, if not already, but most of them they've already approved and done. So I want to thank them for this because they've obviously have been working on this long before we thought about even some of these issues. And I do think that we need to recognize and acknowledge the work of Dan Gilman and Mayor Peduto and his and their staff, because there has been a lot done in a very short time, and it's a rapidly changing situation. And I think that they have thought of everything that they could possibly think of for the needs of the people in the city of Pittsburgh. I hope that the others are following suit in the county and the state level. Obviously, we'd like to see a lot on the federal level that occurs. So I just want to thank them for their work, and I want to thank Councilwoman Gross for bringing this forward. You were in the middle of working on this at the same time they were finalizing some of these things, but weren't ready to announce. So I just think we all are on the same page in trying to make sure that the people of Pittsburgh make it through this and safe, healthy, and without as much stress and worrying about their homes and some of the things that they need for basic care. So I just want to thank everyone for working towards where they've been working towards. And so with that said,
President, this is Erica.
yes.
Yeah, I did want to just say a few words, and I wanted to echo what you said. I wanted to thank Councilwoman Gross for her work on this. I think we both became aware of a letter that was being circulated around the same time regarding these requests, and we're both working on it. And I'm really glad that Councilwoman Gross took the lead on this. So I want to thank her for that. And yes, I wanted to sign on as a co-sponsor. And I'll just say that, in addition to everything you said, Council President, I think that it's going to be up to us as this is a rapidly changing environment to monitor what's happening at the federal and at the state level, and to see, to the extent that an aid package for workers and for small businesses is passed, to the extent that, we now know that philanthropy is putting in, I think, $10 million to help local residents who are impacted by this, that it's going to be up to us to sift through all of that and see where gaps remain and where we can still be of assistance. Because surely federal aid packages, state aid packages are not going to cover everyone. And I've been really encouraged by our neighborhood organizations, which have already jumped into action to help their neighbors. So to the extent that, we as city council can be helpful there, that's great. But I'm also, encouraged by neighbors helping neighbors on a neighborhood level.
Thank you. Anyone else? So I'm just going to, I'll just.
Yes, I'd like to.
Go ahead.
This is Bobby.
Is that Bobby?
Yes, thank you.
Councilman Wilson? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Councilwoman, and I'd like my name to be added as a sponsor as well.
So noted.
Any other members? Okay. With that being said, we're going
I'll sponsor as well. Yeah.
Was that Councilman O'Connor?
Yeah, sorry.
Yes. Sorry. I sometimes recognize the voices. Okay, so is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Resolution's approved. I did want to mention that our public comment, that we are receiving public comment through the clerk's email. Unfortunately, we cannot have anyone in the chambers, and I do want to thank DPW because they sanitize the chambers so that when people are able to come back in, we don't have to worry about their health. So I do want to thank them for the work they've done in the clerk's office, for everything they've been doing in the IMP department, and our Sergeant at Arms for all the work everybody's doing to try to keep us going here and doing the work of the people as we're doing some of this stuff. But we couldn't have anyone in the chambers, and the building will actually be locked shortly to anyone from the outside. So I want to make sure that people understand that we welcome and encourage them to send public comment to, do you want to say the email address?
The email address is cityclerks.pittsburghpa.gov.
City Clerk Office?
Yeah, City Clerk's Office. And that's spelled out, City Clerk, CITYCLERKSOFFICE at pittsburghpa.gov.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So if anyone has any additional public comments, and I know she's receiving some, they will be read into the records and shared with council members as well. So with that said, we are ready for the presentation of papers. Councilman Burgess, Chair of Urban Recreation. Madam Clerk. Council papers.
I can't see my agenda.
So he don't have any papers.
But
Okay.
Burgess.
Do I have any?
You
No,
have
you don't.
No new papers, sorry. Councilman
Thank you.
Coghill, Public Works, Chair of Public Works, Madam Clerk, does he have papers?
Yes.
Councilman Coghill, we're presenting your papers. The clerk's going to read your papers.
Councilman Coghill presents Bill Number 214, Ordinance amending the Pittsburgh Code of Ordinances at Title 7, Business Licenses, Chapter 719, Vendors and Peddlers by amending the existing language of Section 71910, add sites approved by the Sidewalk and Vending Committee to the list of sites approved by Council. Bill Number 215, Resolution authorizing the mayor and the Office of Management and Budget to renew the non-exclusive license agreement with the Federal General Services Administration for the Veterans Affairs Highland Drive campus for limited use and to conduct due diligence pursuant to the application approved by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Department of Justice to acquire the property for law enforcement and emergency management purposes.
Councilwoman Gross, Chair of Intergovernmental Affairs. Madam Clerk, does she have papers? Councilwoman Gross, you have no papers. Councilman Kraus, Chair of Human Resources. Madam Clerk.
No new
No.
papers, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Lavelle, Chair of Finance and Law.
Madam President.
Thank you.
Councilman Lavelle presents Bill Number 213, Ordinance amending the City Code at Title 1, Administrative Article 7, Procedures, Chapter 161, Contracts, in order to increase the councilmanic amount from $3,000 to $5,000. Bill Number 216, Resolution providing for the sale of certain property acquired by the city at the Pittsburgh tax sale, items A and B, 11 and 13 Dick. Bill Number 217, Resolution providing for the conveyance by the city of certain property having been placed for sale to adjourning property owners in conjunction with the City of Pittsburgh Side Yard Program, items A through K. 1210 Westmoreland, 7301 Monticello, 228 Kramer, 2922 Banksville, 1005 Morrison, 1701 and 1705 Brighton, 0 Marquez, 1519 Brighton, 1529 Brighton, and 69 Watson. Bill Number 220, Resolution providing for a renewal by the Council of the City of a declaration of disaster emergency issued by the mayor of the city on March 13, 2020, in accordance with the City of Pittsburgh Code 11303 and the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Services Code 35, Pennsylvania CS 7101 etc., to provide the city with an appropriate time frame for the response to the ongoing public health emergency associated with the spread of the coronavirus. Bill Number 221, Resolution providing for ratification by the Council of the City of a declaration of emergency issued by the mayor of the city on March 13, 2020, in accordance with the City of Pittsburgh Code 111303 and the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Services Code 35, in response to the existing public health emergency associated with the spread of the COVID-19.
Councilman, you have,
President,
yes.
motion to waive rule bills 220 and 221.
We have a motion to, thank you. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
We're also requesting a waiver of the rules of council in order to vote on these finally today. There's been a request.
Okay. So, did you hear what the Madam Clerk just mentioned? That there's a request to vote on these finally today? Is there any discussion?
Madam Clerk, just as a matter of procedure,
Yes.
do we have to adjourn this meeting and take these up after the meeting, or can we take them up right now?
I believe that you can entertain a motion to waive the rules of council at this time.
So that we
So
can.
will they be voted on tomorrow?
They can be voted on
All
today.
right. So I will offer up the motion to waive the rules to be able to final vote bills 220 and 221.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Good.
Did somebody say second? I couldn't hear. Did somebody second the motion?
Second.
Okay, who was that, so the clerk can,
Daniel.
thank you, Daniel, sorry. Councilman Lavelle, sorry. So we have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, the bills are ready for final action.
Well, you got to vote on
No,
the
we need-
motion to.
Wait,
waive
I'm
the
sorry.
rule. Vote on the motion to waive the rule first.
First, let's vote on the motion to waive the rules. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Okay, that's approved. So now second motion to vote on these bills for final action. Is there a motion? We have a motion. We have a second. We had a motion from Councilman Kraus and a second from Councilman Lavelle, correct? All in favor? Any discussion? I'm sorry. Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, and seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Seeing no opposed, the bills are finally, received the legally required number of votes are finally passed. Okay, we got through that one, thank God.
Want to do a roll
Thank you.
call? Can we do a roll
Thank you,
call?
Madam President.
Yeah. Do we want a roll call vote?
It's up to her if you want to call for a roll.
No. Okay, now we have Councilman O'Connor, Chair of Public Safety Services. Do we have papers for Councilman?
No new papers, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Strasburger, Chair of Innovation, Performance, and Asset Management.
We're at Bobby.
No new papers, Madam President.
Thank you. Then we have Councilman Wilson, Chair of Land Use and Economic Development.
Madam President, I have papers.
Thank you, Councilman.
Councilman Wilson presents Bill number 218, Ordinance Amending and Supplementing the Pittsburgh Code of Ordinances at Title 10, Building, Chapter 1004, International Property Maintenance Code Adoption by adopting the 2015 edition of the International Property Maintenance Code and with the amendments thereto specified in Section 100402 of the City Code, as well as making certain amendments to the existing language of Section 1402 of the City Code.
Thank you. Now, can I have myself, Chair of Hearings, Madam Clerk?
Council President Smith presents Bill number 222. Now therefore, I, William Peduto, by the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Home Rule Charter of the City and laws of the City of Pittsburgh, hereby direct all of the following. 1. Effective as of 9 a.m. Monday, March 16, 2020, there shall be no community gatherings in excess of 250 people. Number 2. The city will explore the opportunity to seek continuances for the enforcement of city code citations before magisterial district judges in furtherance of our civic responsibility and to comply with the spirit of Governor Tom Wolf's recommendations regarding social distancing to further prevent the spread of the COVID-19. This executive order shall take effect immediately and remain in effect until amended or rescinded in writing by the mayor. Bill number 223. Now therefore I, William Peduto, by the virtues of the authority vested in me by the Home Rule Charter of the City and laws of the City of Pittsburgh, hereby direct all of the following. Effective as of 9 o'clock a.m. Monday, March 16, 2020, there shall be no community or public gatherings in excess of 50 people, and this amends my earlier order that discourages gathering in excess of 250 people. Number 2, the city will request continuance of hearings before magisterial district judges for the enforcement of city code citations issued by the Department of Permits, Licenses, and Inspection, the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure, and the Department of Public Works in furtherance of our compliance with the spirit of Governor Tom Wolf's recommendations regarding social distancing to further prevent the spread of COVID-19. Number 3, the remainder of Executive Order number 22001 shall remain in effect until rescinded. This executive order shall take effect immediately and remain in effect until amended or rescinded in writing by the mayor.
Can we have a motion to read, receive, and file?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
All in favor? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? They're approved. Thank you, everyone. Now we have our next, oh wait, I'm sorry. Is there any unfinished business before council? Seeing none, we'll move on to our committees for final action. Councilman Lavelle, Committee on Finance and Law. Should we have done that under this one? The final vote, we probably should have done. Okay, I apologize.
Councilman Lavelle presents Bill number 208, Report of the Committee on Finance and Law for March 11, 2020, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill number 142, Resolution providing for a professional services agreement and/or contract with Compass Natural Gas Partners, LP, for the lease of a compressed natural gas fueling system and provision of fuel for the payment thereof at a cost not to exceed $378,000. Bill number 162. The mayor is hereby authorized to issue and the city controller to countersign 3 warrants in the total sum of $19,000 made payable to Ermin Busina in full satisfaction of all claims, including but not limited to claims for any alleged loss compensation, and in full satisfaction of all other claims. $4,750 will be made payable to Mr. Busina's legal counsel, Winan and Baggin, as final settlement related to the action filed with the Pittsburgh Commission on Human Relations. Bill number 163, Resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant in the total sum of $4,455.60 to AA Court Reporters for fire arbitration transcription services. Bill number 164, Resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant in favor of Pittsburgh Collision and Reconstruction Services, LLC, in an amount not to exceed $7,400.58 for professional services in connection with a lawsuit filed in the Allegheny County Court of Common Pleas. Bill number 165, Resolution further amending Resolution number 948, as amended, entitled Adopting and Approving the 2004 Capital Budget and approving the 2004 through 2009 Capital Improvement Program by reducing Fancourt Street Bridge by $7,000 and transferring those funds to the Uptown Mobility Network and Parking Management Plan. Bill number 166, Resolution further amending Resolution number 772 by reducing electronic daily activity sheets by $2,000 and in-car camera system by $13,424.71 and transferring those funds to the Uptown Mobility Network and Parking Management Plan. Bill number 167, Resolution further amending Resolution number 816 by reducing signage by $19,575.29 and transferring those funds to the Uptown Mobility Network and Parking Management Plan. Bill number 168, Resolution amending the Rules of Council, Rule number 11, Invoices, to increase the departmental invoice maximum from $3,000 to $5,000. Bill number 195, Resolution further amending Resolution number 797 by reducing Smallman Street reconstruction by $473,374.38 and increasing complete streets by $473,374.38. Bill number 199, Resolution further amending Resolution number 863 by amending City Council CDBG unspecified local option line items, reducing Save a Life Today Pittsburgh by $8,000 and increasing Birmingham Foundation and Save a Life Today Pittsburgh by $8,000 and authorizing a subsequent agreement for operation, administrative expenses, maintenance, purchase of equipment, and or rehabilitation of neighborhood facilities on behalf of the residents of the city.
You have heard the reading of the title of the bills. Is there any discussion on the bills?
Madam President, this is Councilwoman Gross.
Yes, Councilwoman.
I would like to register a no vote on Bill 0142, the resolution providing for professional services agreements for Compass Natural Gas Partners, LP. as we discussed at length last week, I understand we're trying to weigh the costs and benefits to reducing particulate pollution, but I feel that this is an exorbitant cost for not much reduction in pollution, and it's basically kind of the wrong contract at the wrong time.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any further comments?
Madam President, Councilman Coghill,
Yes.
I would also like to register a no.
Thank you. So noted. And so can we have a roll call vote on this?
Yeah, we're doing a roll call.
Okay.
It's final action, so we do roll call anyway.
Okay. Thanks. Madam Clerk?
Reverend Burgess,
Aye.
Mr. Coghill,
No.
No, on all bills or just which bill? Or just Bill 01?
201.
No, wait. Aye on all bills, Councilman, except for 0142?
Yes, I'm sorry, right.
Is
Yes.
that right? Okay, I just want to make sure. Thank you.
Ms. Gross,
Aye on all bills, no on Bill 0142.
Mr. Kraus,
Aye on all bills.
Mr. Lavelle,
Aye.
Mr. O'Connor,
Aye.
Ms. Strasburger,
Aye.
Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Mrs. Kell Smith, President.
Aye on all bills except for 0142.
On bills 0142, ayes 6, noes 3. All other bills, ayes 9, noes 0.
The bills having received the legally required numbers of votes are finally passed. Councilman Coghill, Committee on Public Works.
Councilman Coghill presents Bill number 209, Report of the Committee on Public Works for March 11, 2020, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill number 158, Resolution taking, appropriating, and condemning by the city for public roadway purposes certain property in the 18th Ward owned by Michael Glenn Eldon and known as 320 Arlington Avenue, authorizing the payment of just compensation and necessary and incidental acquisition costs related thereto. Bill number 159, Resolution taking, appropriating, and condemning by the city for public roadway purposes certain property in the 18th Ward by 2826 Edward Way and Associates LLC and known as 322 through 324 Arlington Avenue, authorizing the payment of just compensation and necessary and incidental acquisitions costs related thereto. Bill number 181, Resolution authorizing the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure to enter into a contract with the Kittleson team to conduct a parking and transportation demand management study for the Uptown neighborhood in a cost not to exceed $60,000.
You have heard the reading and the title of the bills. Is there any discussion on the bills? Seeing none, the bills are ready for final action. All in favor of the passage will vote aye when their name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Reverend Burgess,
Aye.
Mr. Coghill,
Aye.
Ms. Gross,
Aye.
Mr. Kraus,
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle,
Aye.
Mr. O'Connor,
Aye.
Ms. Strasburger,
Aye.
Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Mrs. Kell Smith, President.
Aye.
Ayes 9, noes 0.
The bills having received the legally required number of votes are finally passed. Councilman Bobby Wilson, Land Use and Economic Development.
Councilman Wilson presents Bill number 210, Report of the Committee on Land Use and Economic Development for March 11, 2020, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill number 2249, Ordinance amending the Pittsburgh Code Title 9, Zoning Article 1, Section 90203, Zoning Map, by changing from CP, Commercial Plan Unit Development, to UNC, Urban Neighborhood Commercial, 2 parcels and a portion of 2 parcels in the Allegheny County Block and Lot System 7th Ward, and changing from LNC, Local Neighborhood Commercial, to UNC, Urban Neighborhood Commercial, 6 parcels and a portion of 2 parcels in the Allegheny County Block and Lot System 7th Ward.
You've heard the reading and the title of the bills. Is there any discussion on the bills? No discussion. The bills are ready for final action. All in favor of the passage will vote aye when their name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Reverend Burgess,
Aye.
Mr. Coghill,
Aye.
Ms. Gross,
Aye.
Mr. Kraus,
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle,
Aye.
Mr. O'Connor,
Aye.
Ms. Strasburger,
Aye.
Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Mrs. Cal Smith, President.
Aye.
Ayes 9, no 0.
Thank you. The bills having received the legally required number of votes are finally passed. Councilman Ricky Burgess, Committee on Urban Recreation.
Reverend Burgess presents Bill Number 211, Report of the Committee on Urban Recreation for March 11, 2020, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill Number 156, Resolution authorizing the mayor and director of the Department of Parks and Recreation to execute relevant agreement to receive grant funding from the Digital Harbor Foundation to expand the Rec to Tech programming into Jefferson Recreation Center, and further providing for an agreement and expenditures not to exceed $10,000.
You have heard the reading of the title of the bill. Is there any discussion on the bills? No discussion. The bills are ready for final action. Those in favor of the passage will vote aye when their name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Reverend Burgess,
Aye.
Mr. Coghill, Mr. Coghill, Ms. Gross,
Aye.
Mr. Kraus,
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle,
Aye.
Mr. O'Connor,
Aye.
Ms. Strasburger,
Aye.
Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Mrs. Cal Smith, President.
Aye.
Mr. Coghill,
Aye.
ayes 9, no 0.
Thank you. The bills have received the legally required number of votes are finally passed. Councilwoman Erica Strasburger, Committee on Innovation, Performance, and Asset Management.
Councilwoman Strasburger presents Bill Number 212, Report of the Committee on Innovation, Performance, and Asset Management for March 11, 2020, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill Number 203, Resolution amending Resolution 730 of 2019, effective November 6, authorizing the mayor and director of Innovation and Performance on behalf of the city to revise the not-to-exceed funding amount and to clarify the leasing process.
You've heard the reading and the title of the bill. Is there any discussion on the bill? No discussion. The bill is now ready for final action. Those in favor of the passage will vote aye when their name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Reverend Burgess,
Aye.
Mr. Coghill,
Aye.
Ms. Gross,
Aye.
Mr. Kraus,
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle,
Aye.
Mr. O'Connor,
Aye.
Ms. Strasburger,
Aye.
Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Mrs. Cal Smith, President.
Aye.
Ayes 9, no 0.
The bill, having received the legally required number of votes, is finally passed. Now we'll move on to motions and resolutions. Thank you all for getting us through this meeting. We have some meeting announcements. To help prevent the spread of COVID-19, city council meetings are limited to members and the clerk's staff. We will meet tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for the standing committee meeting, and next Tuesday, March 24th, at 10 a.m. for the regular meeting, and the standing committee meeting will immediately follow. For directors and legislative points of contact, we'll need to reach you for legislative discussion for the standing committee meeting on 3/18 and 3/24. If your legislative item is on the agenda tomorrow and or next week, please send your best contact phone number to the clerk's office via city clerk's office at pittsburghpa.gov. That's city, C-I-T-Y, clerks, C-L-E-R-K-S, office, O-F-F-I-C-E, at Pittsburgh, spelled out, PA.gov. This process will be in effect until further notice. Do we have any discussion from members? Can I just thank you all?
Madam President, this is Councilman Coghill. I just want to tell you you're doing a great job. I know it's been a lot of stress on you as well, so with the additional...
Thank you. I think it's been stressful on all of us. We all want to help.
And thank you for your leadership, Madam President.
Can I thank you for all the times you've called and helped me? Thank you all for those of you who reached out and those who just said, if you need us, call us. I just want to thank you all, but I really want to thank the clerk's office for getting us through this. I want to thank all of you. I think we've got a long way to go. Of course, our Sergeant at Arms and IMP department that is stretched so thin and working all over the city still managed to make time to set this up for us. DPW, all the different departments that are working through this time. I know it's challenging for them and their families. I just want to thank all of them and let them know that we're here. We want to help as much as we can. We're also limited because the building will be locked today at noon and not open to the public. So it's a very challenging time for the city of Pittsburgh. But I think together we'll get through this. And you've seen a lot of the different things occurring in the city and how people pull together. And it's what we do. We pull together and we'll get through this. But it's going to be challenging for the next couple of weeks. Councilman Lavelle will chair the meeting tomorrow, and so I thank him for that. I think he's going to. I wiped down the gavel for you, Councilman. So I think that everything's been sanitized in this room. So that's thanks to DPW and John Stivic for all that they're doing. So with seeing no other, is there any other discussion? Thank you, members. I know how difficult it's.
Would you just call in tomorrow as well?
Yes, call in tomorrow as well.
Madam Clerk,
Okay.
Madam Clerk, this is Councilwoman Gross. Madam President.
Yes.
I also want to acknowledge that it is St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
And happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone. And if I may, and if you'll indulge me, I would also like to wish my parents
Yes.
a 58th happy wedding anniversary.
Oh, my God.
They were married on St. Patrick's Day in 1962.
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary to your parents.
Thank you very much.
And happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone. Any other members? I want you to know, I think it's more difficult calling from home than it is coming here physically, because I've done it before from home, and it's so difficult because you can't really, see, and there's a delay from TV to your home, so it's really challenging. So thank all of you for taking the time to do it this way, to keep the public safe as well. And so with that, we have a motion
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. With the motion to excuse the absent member, and approve the minutes and adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Be safe.